they're not running the county and
So
stuff.
here's the thing, he never did a DOI, did he not get the information?
Exactly.
So I'm just,
I know. But that's just another example. Of people like Richard coming into town, he knows the rules, but a lot of new folks come to town, don't know the rules, they don't bother to learn them and just carry on.
one thing,
Not right.
one thing.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Mayor.
It's the wisdom corner.
We need to tighten this up. And, everybody has to play by the same rules.
I guarantee when the mayor starts, her opposition, whether it be Richard or whoever it might be, they need to play by the rules. And she shouldn't have to do anything that they don't. Or he shouldn't have to do anything that they don't.
What happened?
His opposition was just putting out signs everywhere.
Oh, I know.
Pointing out in front of the right of way.
And they're not taking them up.
No, no,
And,
I don't agree with that.
the other guy.
I got mine taken up one time.
Oh, me too. And my husband had the tape measure and he sprayed it with orange. To make sure it's
To make
right.
sure they're right.
Please.
Well, mine occurred when the city guys cut the grass on that lot right there by twenty, and put it back closer. That's okay. It's up to me, it's my responsibility to check.
Yeah, me too. And so I understand, but that was not. Well,
Gee, we got 4 minutes. How long is it gonna take? Miss Karen?
Probably 10 minutes, maybe at the most. Brief.
Depends on how many questions we have from the audience.
Right.
I'll try to focus on.
you have Ms. Callan, good morning.
Good
Do you have an analysis like you typically do, just like a, if for a $200,000 home, how much it would cost, or
Yes,
just a
ma'am.
SWOT analysis for that?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Not 200,000 anymore.
Right, right.
I know.
Yeah.
320. Average is.
Yeah, the example is 350.
Oh, 350.
350,000, I suppose.
That's good.
It won't be 725. Yeah, because,
All because of one house. Hmm. I don't know, he's doing all of us a favor to you.
We should maybe talk to the state to say, take the outliers out, like the top 5 or something, high and low. And
Wow.
that would make more sense, but.
I'll leave that to y'all.
So Karen, how much will our millage rate cost? I'm looking at that, but, so if somebody.
What's one meal? I
$2,000
think that was Jackson Coast.
say, to the county. How does the average homeowner figure out how much more it's gonna cost?
And so I have that for the city, I don't have it for the county, they have a file, they haven't finalized their adoption millage rate yet. But in this current one, I do have an example of how much it would cost, for the city. And so for a $350,000 house, it's $7. We do have an HTM review credit, which is the house one, house pass. And that will say, the whole covered $33. So it'll decrease.
And that's what the county failed to take into account, they had to rescind, is that what you're talking
I believe so. When they came out here that night, that's exactly what they were talking about.
We're going up a half a mil. What was the mil that you want?
A mil, how much of a mil is 2.3 million?
1 mil, 2 mil. So you're 1.15 million increase in projected revenue. Sam, how you? Good morning, how are you? Karen, will you make sure that you remind me of that?
call to order the City of Douglasville's City Council Public Hearing Number 1 for their millage rate for today, which is Monday, August the 21st. And so I call this meeting to order, and I will hand it over to the committee that's handling our millage rate, which is the Finance Committee chaired by Councilmember Mark Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good morning to
Welcome.
all.
Good morning.
We're going to hold a public hearing, the first of three, to consider the proposed 2023-24 ad valorem tax millage rate for maintenance and operations. Ms. Karen Callan is going to help us with that. Our accounting department chair, our deputy assistant city manager, I can never get that straight now that we've added that position. We appreciate you being here, Ms. Callan, and we appreciate all the hard work you and your staff have done. So you take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Karen Callan, Assistant City Manager, the City of Douglasville, and this is the first of 3 public hearings, required public hearings when we do not adopt the rollback rate. We do have another public hearing this evening at 6 o'clock, and then a final public hearing August 31st at 5 to adopt the millage rate at 5:30, August 31st, at a special call meeting. First of all, what is a millage rate? It's the percentage figure applied to your property value to determine your property tax liability. Those tax dollars generated from the maintenance and operations millage rate are used to fund government operations such as public safety, buildings and grounds, finance, planning and zoning, community development. The Douglas County Tax Assessor's Office are the ones who value your property. Sometimes we get that question, does the City of Douglasville send out the property values? No, that is done by the Douglas County Tax Assessor's Office, which is also different from the Tax Commissioner's Office. The Tax Commissioner then takes the millage rate that's adopted by all 3 local jurisdictions, apply that to the values received from the tax assessor, and then bills and collects taxes for the City of Douglasville. We do have an intergovernmental agreement with the Tax Commissioner's Office to bill and collect taxes for the city. The recommendation this year is to adopt a rate of 7.711. That is the rate that was advertised. It is a 14.17% increase above the rollback rate of 6.754. The budget adopted in fiscal year 24, it was adopted back in March. We adopted a total line item of $16.2 million for property tax revenue, and a rate of 7.711 is needed to generate the amount of revenue approved in the budget. A brief history of our millage rate for maintenance and operations from 2018 to 2022, it remained at 7.211. In 2023, we're recommending 7.711, which is 0.957, almost a mil over the rollback rate, but a half a mil over the previous millage rate. What is driving this increase? It was due to the 10-year agreement between the local option sales tax, between the city, 10-year agreement of the negotiations of local option sales tax between the cities and the counties. There is a 7% sales tax, 4% goes to the state, 1% goes to SPLOST, 1% goes to the Board of Education, and that 1% is the negotiated 1% between the cities and the counties. We finalized those negotiations in December, and the city had to take a cut from 28.47 to 25.5%. We are increasing per the agreement in 2026 and 2030, going up to 27.5%. If the lost negotiations failed, that meant that the cities and the counties would lose the ability to collect local option sales tax, and at this point, it's equivalent to 4.42 mils. The significant items in the fiscal year 2024 budget, due to the lost negotiations in sales tax, we are estimating a revenue reduction of $1.5 million because the economy is slowing down with interest rates rising, building permit revenue projecting a decrease of $532,000. With these capital projects coming to an end or close to coming to an end, the amphitheater, as we know, is going to open up September 1st. And we will have additional operational costs with that. Jesse Davis Park expansion, we have 3 months programmed in. When that project is complete, we'll have additional operational costs with that. Trustee Guard cleanup program, $235,000. Parks master plan, $150,000. And street maintenance projects at $150,000. We were conservative in the fiscal year '24 budget. We only had a 0.2% decrease, not 2%, 0.2% decrease overall. An example of the impact of your property value on a $350,000 house is $70 a year or $5.83 a month for the city's portion. Our advertisement that we're required to post in the paper by law shows the percentage over the rollback rate, which is $133 a year. There is good news this year. The House Bill 131 was signed by Governor Kemp in March of 2023. It does not apply to rental properties or non-homesteads, so you have to have your primary residence in the city. But it will reduce your assessed value of your home by $18,000. So it's after the 40% is applied, you reduce it by $18,000, and at a millage rate of 7.711, your savings is $138 on your tax bill. That helps to defray some of these additional costs. Moving on to the bond digest, as a reminder, in November of 2021, there was a special election and a GO bond was on the referendum for the Jesse Davis Park project. It won by 67%. The Jesse Davis Park renovation and expansion includes 2-story gym with indoor walking tracks, a new community center, a new senior center, zero entry pool with a splash play area, multi-use trails, new pavilion area, upgraded playground, synthetic turf for a football field. The bond millage rate history, from 2022, look back to 2018, we only includes the bond millage rate for the police administration building and municipal court complex. In 2023, the bond millage rate will go up to 1.3% because we're adding the Jesse Davis Park expansion bond debt service payment. What that will cost is on a $350,000 house, the annual tax due will be $71.12. The HTRG credit does not apply to bonds. Your total tax rate for the city of Douglasville is proposed at 9.011. And remember that we do have the HTRG credit. Our final public hearing dates are this evening, again at 6 o'clock. The public hearing number 3 is August 31st at 5, and the special call meeting will be to adopt the final millage rate August 31st at 5:30 p.m. And we welcome, or I'll turn it back over to the chairman for public comment.
Thank you, Ms. Callen. I do have one question or one comment. I know that you didn't do this on purpose, but under the budget FYI 2024, just the last item, increased jail cost. Did you address that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I did not. I added that after I printed this.
I'd just like that to be included because
Yes,
that is
sir.
a cost that we are not really in control of. That is a pass-through.
Yes,
Can you
sir.
help us with that?
Yes, sir. We had paid a daily rate of $40 for the past couple of years. And as we are negotiating service delivery right now with the Douglas County Sheriff's Office, they are increasing our jail cost to us. It looks like they're landing on $50 a day. So based on that, I don't think we've finalized the agreement yet, but based on that, we're projecting an additional $120,000 a year in jail cost.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate you including that. This being a public hearing, first of all, I'll open the floor for any questions, Madam Mayor or Coach Watts, if you had any questions or comments, then we'll get to the public portion. Any? Yes, ma'am, Madam Mayor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I don't have any questions. I was going to ask about the jail as well, so thank you for bringing that up. Thank you, our Finance Chair and Assistant City Manager. We appreciate the report. It was very thorough.
Coach Watts?
Mr. Chair, yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Ms. Callen, would you there's a lot of things that are influencing our budget and this proposed raising of the millage rate. And that lost negotiation was a big part of that, correct? Yes. So, and is there anything, fire and EMS and things like that? Or, well, yes, ma'am.
Yes, Councilman Watts just asked about fire and EMS, and the local option sales tax was the main driving force between the local option sales tax negotiation and going down in percentage of 28.47 to 25.5. We will realize revenue losses over the next 10 years. So it's a 10-year agreement. But right now, just recently, our city manager spoke to a Senate committee about legislation in the local option sales tax negotiations. But also, Councilman Watts asked about fire and EMS. Those will go into effect in 2025. So depending on how our tax digest grows and any new development that we receive on the tax digest, we could possibly be looking at a slight increase in 2025. But that won't take effect until 2025.
Thank you, Ms. Cowan. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all for your comments. I think one thing that needs to be noted there, Ms. Callen, is that cost of fire and EMS and animal control will be greatly increased come 2025. That's another one of those 10-year negotiations that we had to do, and the county has increased the cost to us by, what was the amount? Can you tell us that? Beginning 2025?
I believe half a year is 1.2 million, so, but I don't have that number right off the top of my
I
head.
know that it's
but I know it's
a
in the
very large
millions.
increase
Yes.
that it will be coming beginning in 2025, and it is going to be graduating as far as cost after that.
There will be a 3% escalation each year.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Public, anyone here that would like to speak either for or against this being a public hearing? We want to give everyone comment, the opportunity to comment. And I don't know that the mayor mentioned it, but I believe we will allow 5 minutes per speaker. Is that correct,
Yes,
Madam
sir.
Mayor? Yes, go ahead, Mr. Siegel.
I don't need that much time.
Good.
Richard Siegel, 9905 Ashford Greenway. I just have a question. This is neither for nor against. For Ms. Callen, with the proposed millage rate, what would be the total dollar amount of property taxes you expect to bring in? I know it's an estimate because you don't know where the digest will end up because of appeals, and you don't know the collection rate, but ballpark.
Right, around 16 million.
And how much of that would go into the general fund and how much goes into the TAD special fund?
That is all general fund.
So the TAD would not be getting any property tax this time around?
The TAD will be getting some property taxes. We have not calculated the TAD ratio yet, but we will be this week.
All right.
And so that there's a special calculation that you have to do to determine what actually goes into the tax allocation district fund.
So then the numbers that were presented on the digest that was advertised in the paper did not include any growth from the properties in the TAD?
Correct. Well, there could be some growth in the TAD. We've not analyzed those parcels yet, but nothing that was advertised has anything to do with the tax allocation district.
When you do have those numbers calculated, could you please send them?
Yes, sir.
to me? Thank
Mhm.
you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Siegel. Anyone else? Okay. Seeing none, then we will close this portion of the public hearing, and we will take up the item again this afternoon. Is that correct? Thank you, Ms. Callen. Madam Mayor, that's all that we have in finance.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Councilman Watts, for coming as well, and in our community as well, the citizens who have come and staff. And thank you again, Ms. Callen. We appreciate the report. So if we don't have any other business to come before this meeting, this special called public hearing on our millage rate, this meeting is adjourned.